always say it's why I work hard today. That's why I try to, present myself well and professionally to honor this uniform that he laid down his life, defending this city and defending a family against a domestic situation. So I'm honored to carry it on, and my motivation to lead this department comes from, wanting to make sure that we represent ourselves as professional, with integrity and honor, because he was all of that.
Welcome to Cal's Corner Ministries. I'm Cal. This is real talk about real life through the lens of faith. No sugarcoating, no pretending, just honest conversations. God's truth and how it actually plays out day to day. If you're trying to walk this out in your life, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Hello again, everyone, and welcome in here to Cal's Corner. And our guest today is the chief, it's the big dog, and Joe Trigg, the chief of Grand Rapids PD. And welcome in.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, been looking forward to this here for a while since we knew that we could come in, and then we just had to work around your busy schedule.
It's a little busy.
It's a little busy.
Yeah, but no, happy to sit down with you.
Yeah, we're happy to have you here. And once again, thanks to Ariel with Ariel Grace Marketing and for putting all this together, technical difficulties and everything. And good thing we have backups to backups to backups. So that all works too. So, so I've known you here for a few years, not well, but I would see you sometimes on the sidelines of your alma mater, the Muskegon Big Reds.
Yes, of course. Yeah, no, very proud of my school, very proud of that neighborhood that I grew up in. And, as a young kid, walking up to the field and peering through the fence and seeing those huge, men of juniors and seniors playing on the varsity football team was, that was, it was just phenomenal. It's historic. It was, encouraging for a little kid.
Yeah. Yep, and that's one thing that Hackley Stadium is. It is historic. Been there over 100 years.
Yes.
Yeah, so tell us about the early years of Joe Trigg.
Early years, like I say, grew up in a single family home, raised by a single mother. There was, I had three other brothers, two older brothers, and one younger brother. Kind of moved around a lot. I think, due to finances, I assume not being able to make rent and things like that. But no, we had a good childhood, but a challenging one, which I don't regret, any of those challenges, because it's made me who I am today. But yeah, two older brothers, younger brother. I had a younger brother that was, born disabled, wasn't supposed to live past the age of 2. Just had the, brain stopped growing. Brain development of a 6-month-old, and but we were blessed to have him till 7 years of age. I was 11 when he passed, and I think some of that contributed to my mom's substance abuse and domestic violence, situation. So we kind of had that domestic violence home, which challenges that come along with that, and two older brothers. One would eventually go off to the Marines once he got 18. I think after he graduated, 2 weeks in, he went. And I had another older brother that made some bad choices and ended up serving some prison time. So, but yeah, growing up at home, domestic violence, and I know calling 911 due to the domestic stuff, and as I've said very openly, calling Muskegon PD and Muskegon PD coming to kind of save the day, and either take the bad abusive boyfriend to jail, or chase him off. I mean, at 11 years old, I couldn't really defend my mother, so I thought, I want to do that someday. I want to be a police officer and answer that call for somebody else. But no, sports. I fell in love with sports pretty early, specifically baseball. My older brother came home um, from school or whatnot and told me he signed me up for East Muskegon Little League Baseball. I was 11, and like, okay, my older brother plays baseball. Let me give this a shot. And I was terrible, but I figured it out pretty quick. I would soon to find out baseball would be the kind of the journey athletically that I would take.
Yeah. Do they have Little League baseball at Muskegon even right now? I mean, I've never really
I,
heard much about it. Or
it's a great question. I don't know if it's still, travel ball has taken over everything.
yeah,
So I don't know if they still have it. But back then they did. We played at Sheldon Park over there in East Muskegon, and it was a fun time. I still have some of those same friends,
okay.
today, and I think it goes to show what a work ethic can do. Because at 11, just touching it, I think I was kind of starting a little late,
Mm-hmm.
later than all my friends, but being able to, I always say the next year I was an all star, which just goes to show the work ethic I put in. I learned to appreciate being good at something. It's my friends would say I get obsessed with it. So yeah,
So you tell me you're normal. You're
basically,
human.
yeah,
You're human. That's what
basically,
I'm
yeah,
looking for.
basically.
Yeah.
I think a friend of mine says anything worth doing is worth overdoing. So, and
Oh,
I can identify with that.
yeah.
So.
Yep. Football along the way or no?
No football, even though, like say, my size now, everyone kind of assumed football. Just kind of took to baseball. Had the baseball friends. Almost went out for football my senior year, but the problem is I was going to see my brother in California. He was in the Marines, and I was going out there, and I was going to miss a couple weeks of practice. No way at the Muskegon program
Yeah.
are you going to miss the first couple weeks of practice, just being a kind of new to it. But as an athlete, I think I could have performed well, but I do. That's a big regret not
Mm-hmm.
being part of that historic team. I think what founded in like 1895, so they've been around a long time, and the historic wins placed them, I think,
Yeah.
sixth in the nation or somewhere around there,
Mm-hmm.
pretty close to that 900 plus wins. So I regret not being part of that. So, as you know, baseball is not the same draw that the football program brings. So,
Yeah. Yep. How about some of the more influential people, men or women, in your life when you were young? If you had any of those.
yeah, the first one that comes to mind, I definitely don't want to forget anyone, but it would be my Aunt Jan, right? My Aunt Jan, and I love all my aunts and my uncles, but my Aunt Jan, it seemed to take the responsibility of um, uh, um, the rescuer. She would, during the domestic violence situations, Aunt Jan would come to the rescue as well in the aftermath. Which sometimes I can still see her in her bathrobe because it's the middle of the night, and my cousin Matt and I were the same age, so she'd scoop me up, and my other brothers too, if needed, and me being the younger one, I'd go stay at my Aunt Jan and Uncle Butch's for if it wasn't the school year, it would be for in the summer, it'd be for weeks and weeks. And
Mm-hmm.
my cousin Matt and I were the same size at that point in time,
Yeah.
so I didn't have to pack a bag. Could wear the same
Yeah.
clothes. So, um, so yeah, she was definitely influential. And then once I got to junior high, and high school, I met um, you know, a guy, Joe Bondry. He had played East Muskegon baseball too. Wasn't really close to him then, but kind of reconnected with him in high school. Became pretty good friends, and his mom, Pat, just she just kind of eventually just took me in. She just her love and care, and just made me feel welcomed,
Mm-hmm.
and still having the kind of the dysfunctional home of the domestic stuff, alcohol stuff. It was just a nice, safe place to be where I enjoyed being, and
Yeah.
she welcomed me with open arms and treated me like one of her own. And so those two ladies were very, I say, saved my life because they showed me that love and affection when I definitely needed it, and I definitely probably would have taken a different road because yeah, just like any other teen. I was struggling with probably depression, anger, and all these things, and taking that out onto the street, doing things that I shouldn't be doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like I had an accountability to both of them for what they were, the investment they made in me, especially later in life. Pat, who I still call mom today. She didn't have to love and care for me, but she did. And that speaks volumes. She worked at the Muskegon County Youth Home, and she was on government assistant too. So, but she still took an extra mouth, and said a big mouth to feed. But she, I don't think she thought twice, and I'm forever grateful for that. Yeah.
people who adopt or rescue children, a lot of them are the unsung heroes of America.
Absolutely.
I mean, they just open up their home and essentially their wallet,
Yeah.
and help rescue kids. And a lot of them have gone on to, much like yourself, to do great things with their life. When maybe, like you said, it could have gone the other way.
Yeah. I mean, and if you think about it, it just doesn't impact one person, right? I mean, obviously, when they're making that positive impact on my life, you know, I don't have a family at that point in time,
Mm-hmm.
but um, it got me in the right direction. Showed me that love and affection. So then, when I got married and had a family, that I could lead my family, and kind of change the trajectory of the cycle of coming from a fatherless home and the challenges, and make sure that I made something out of myself so I could provide for my family,
Mm-hmm.
and give my kids the direction and love, and that they needed to be successful. Who I'm proud of, where they are today. And
Mm-hmm.
my role that myself and their mother made in that.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. For those that are watching, like from the Muskegon area, what part of Muskegon did you grow up in, mostly?
The area of Fifth and Monroe.
Okay.
That's kind of like that Nelson neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Is where I moved a lot though. I went to 4 elementaries in 6 years. So,
Okay.
but that's the neighborhood that I spent the most time in, because I think it was fifth grade,
Yeah.
fifth and sixth grade. I went to Nelson, and it's just the neighborhood that I'm 11 and 12 years old, and the time I can remember that was most impactful. Whether it was the Pee Wee baseball field that was across the street where I'm starting to develop my skills,
Yeah.
there, or throwing a tennis ball against our unattached garage, and get a ground ball coming back, and going up to Nelson, throwing a tennis ball up against the wall to get me a fly ball. And baseball is a hard sport to practice by yourself,
Yeah.
but I figured out how to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's mostly the area that when I go, as Shane Fairfield, head coach of Muskegon, is a dear friend, big brother of mine, and um, I love that he's coaching that team in that neighborhood, because that's my. I look at that. That's my neighborhood. That's where I grew up, and that's the neighborhood I identify with.
Yeah.
When fall football practice, and he's starting right now to smell the grass, and I instantly go back to a kid walking those streets or whatever, walking home from school, whether that be in high school or, walking home from Nelson Elementary. So, yeah,
Wow.
that's
I
it.
remember talking about, like, walking home. I think it was Anthony Bradford, that Matt Bowles scene,
Yeah,
walking. And he said, "Son, what are you doing? You play football?" "No, I don't play football." "Oh, you do now."
yeah,
And that
yeah,
turned that
yeah.
into an NFL career.
Super Bowl
That's,
champ.
yeah, wow, that's just
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. No, you never know where it's going to come from,
No,
right?
no, you don't. Who's your baseball coach in high school?
Mike Taylor. Mike Taylor. Obviously, he passed away years ago, but just typical, like any male that's raised without a father.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you gravitate to these male figures, and he was a great coach, and he kind of pushed you. And I went to college, and where I went to college, Grand Community College, was all because Mike Taylor said that's where I need to go.
Okay. Tell you what, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back. We're going to talk about your college career, because it's impressive. So you're listening to Cal's Corner Ministry right here with Ariel Grace Marketing, and we'll be back in just a moment. Welcome to Grand Men's Ministries, where men come together to hear stories of faith, to be encouraged, and to have fellowship. Join us every second Saturday of the month at 7 a.m. at the Grant Depot. All men are welcome. Welcome back here to Cal's Corner with the Chief, Joe Trigg. Tell you what a great first segment. I want to thank Ariel again. And I wanted to jump to college, your college career, and the academics, the athletics of it. But I remembered a story from a good friend of mine and an acquaintance of yours by the name of Dan Beckman.
Okay.
And Dan Beckman was a principal at Reese Puffer years ago when you were in high school.
Okay.
And you were a great baseball player for the Big Reds. And you were at bat, and you had a long foul ball down the left field line, And Beckman was in the dugout, and there was a kid. I remember, I think his nickname was like Paz or something like that. And Beckman yelled out, "Hey, that's just a long strike." And you turned and looked at him. And the next one, he told me at one point, he said, "I think it's still going." He said, "But you hit that so far, it would have landed in the upper deck at the old Tiger Stadium."
Okay.
So I don't know if you remember that one or not. You just crushed a long
I
fly
kept it
ball.
fair. I kept it
Yep, you
fair.
kept that one fair, yeah.
I don't remember it, but I do know I hit some home runs against Reese Puffer, in high school, and yeah, no, it sounds like a good story. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's
Yep.
awesome.
So
Yeah,
yeah, let's jump forward here to college. So graduate Muskegon, and you ended up at Grand Rapids Community College or
yeah,
junior college.
yeah,
Isn't it correct?
yeah. Well, it was community college
Okay.
then. I think everyone was still calling it JC.
Okay.
But yeah, I went to Grand Rapids Community College. As I said, I did not take academics seriously in high school. I did, uh, I was doing better, but I was motivated just to play sports, right? I did not know how to, be a student.
Yep.
Honestly, I just had, poor study habits or lack thereof. And so my options were real limited. I really took to Mike Taylor, my high school baseball coach, and him knowing Doug Wabeck out here at Grand Rapids Community College said, "This is where you need to go." Gave me a little bit of Coach Wabeck, which we call Wobbs' resume of playing minor league ball and learning later that his staff all played minor league ball, that this was the place for me. So um, went there, and it was the best time of my life. It's just the instruction we got was pro instruction. Our practices were like pro level practices to what I know, and he was a tough coach. His expectations were really high, but he just really taught us and me how to, um, work ethic and to kind of never be satisfied. Just always trying to do more. Like I say, he was tough, but yeah, no, played 2 seasons there and was lucky to win two JUCO national championships. And I've got the hardware at home to show it, 2 rings, and just had the GRCC golf outing. So ran into some of my old teammates and fond memories. And it's all about the team. But yeah, I did win All American honors my sophomore year, which proud of that. I like the team accomplishment better. So the whole, winning a World Series was amazing.
Yeah.
And as you know, with sports, when you accomplish big things like that together, the bond is different. And so no, that was the fondest time. And then from there, I transferred to Grand Valley State University, and had 2 good seasons there. Was fortunate enough to um, break the RBI record my junior year, but records are made to be broken because it was quickly broken the next year. So,
Okay.
and it's been shattered ever since then. But all in all, to say, I feel very fortunate that I was blessed enough to play college, baseball. So, because it's not only was it a great time, but I've created lifelong friendships, right? So, which we've talked before, relationships are very important to me, and I've had a good run. So
I'd say so.
yeah,
Yeah. The academic part. Now, I mean, did criminal justice, when did that enter? And
yeah, and I guess I didn't finish. I had to learn how to be an athlete. I got put on academic probation my first 6 months, at GRCC, to where Coach Wobbs is like, basically, you need to get your stuff in order. And at that point, I brought the same determination that I did as being an athlete to the academic side.
Okay.
Right. And that's what I learned there, work ethic. But yeah, just got my general studies at CC, but then transferred to Grand Valley with a major in, criminal justice, and with knowing that my childhood dream was to be a police officer. So then, yeah, do 2 years at Grand Valley, and then one of my college teammates, his dad was retired law enforcement. He spoke so highly of Grand Rapids Police Department because he was very good friends with the lieutenant of the training bureau that was here at the time, and Grand Rapids is the place to be. And I know that a little bit bigger than my hometown of Muskegon, a lot of different specialty units, and chances for advancement. And me and my good friend did a ride along. And after that, we were hooked. I
Okay.
mean, to ride in that police car, and of course, driving fast, but also responding to people's call for help. And when the police come, things usually stop. At least the
Yeah.
trouble does. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's kind of where it ends.
So you went to criminal justice there, got that degree. Then you probably did you come here for your academy then, or did you
Yeah,
have to go to an academy?
basically what happened. You can either be sponsored or put yourself through an academy. And how it worked was Grand Rapids at the time was hiring sponsors. That means they hired me without being certified and sent me to a police academy. So they
Okay.
sent me to Lansing Community College, where I went through the 4 month police academy and got certified, and then came back to Grand Rapids here to where you go through what we call it's called in-house, but what it is it's a mini academy. It's a 2 month academy where now you're learning how GRPD does things,
Hmm.
and you're learning what are the city ordinances here in Grand Rapids, and doing a lot of scenario based training, and what are the problems in Grand Rapids. So it's more department specific, and then after that 2 months, now you go out in the street in the FTO program, field
Yeah.
training, and yeah, you're with a partner for basically 4 months, and you kind of switch partners every month because there's 4 different phases, and you're just basically being graded on how you're progressing through the field training program. And yeah, but it takes. I tell everyone, some think you can just graduate the academy and then they give you the keys and give you a gun and say go be the police. Not here at Grand Rapids. Every agency is a little bit different, but it's 10 months, close to say 9, 10 months before you're on your
Yeah.
own, doing it. So
Do you remember your first day alone?
oh, absolutely,
Do you? Okay.
absolutely, because I had that thought of when you have a FTO, that's a field training officer. When you have
Yeah.
a FTO next to you every shift to a high stress situation of learning this job, it gets old. You're just tired of being judged every minute. It's required, it's needed, but you get tired of it. So when you finally get that freedom to be on your own, it's like, oh, finally. But I remember having that thought, like, yes, I'm on my own. Then I was like, the second side of that was, oh my God, I'm on my own.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Like
Yeah.
you don't have that lifeline right next to you, but that's part of the process. And you still have teammates, you have a radio,
Hmm.
and it's just yeah. But it was a good and bad to it. But then you get comfortable, just like anything. When you're a freshman versus when you're a junior or a senior, you get that experience, and
Yeah.
then everything goes a lot smoother.
Yeah. Does it ever become? Does it ever, for lack of better words, does it ever become easy? Or I would say maybe no, because you just don't know what scenario it's
Um,
coming up 5 minutes from now, or
well, I guess you learn, um, you know, um, what the norm is, or chaos is normal, right? So you
Mhm.
learn to live um, in that area. I guess it's just Grand Rapids is very busy. It's a very fast paced, city, and not everybody that wants to work here can keep up with the pace.
Mhm.
Sometimes a smaller department might fit, an officer better, but no, it's never easy. But you learn just to um, uh, that the fast pace stuff is just normal. That's just how
Mhm.
you go about it. But I wouldn't change anything.
Did you ever think when you're starting out that, and I don't know what building it was, I know this building's been here for quite a while, correct?
Yes.
Did you ever think, wow, I'm gonna be sitting on the second floor someday?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah, the old building I was only in for 3 months.
Okay.
I was still, you know, um, going through the training program. But yeah, no, my goal was never to be chief. It was never to be deputy chief, captain, lieutenant, you name it. My goal was to be a police officer,
Mhm.
answer the 911 call, and make my impact there. And then as my years on grew, it was just kind of like athletics. I'm just trying to be the best officer that I can be a good teammate, be helpful to the citizens of Grand Rapids, and then, kind of keep my head down and, try to spread knowledge, whatever it may be. And then, I had a captain, my captain, Captain Peter Waters, that was like, "Hey, I think you should test for sergeant." And I'm like, I'm okay. I'm not interested yet. And at that time, I became a community officer, and I was on days, and it was good work. I liked community work, and then he came at me probably 6 months later because there was another test coming up, and I was kind of getting bored with the day shift, and I was thinking about going back to nights because it was more cohesive, more chemistry, bigger team. And I was like, he talked me into it. I had to see him every morning, so he talked me into it. And at that point, I felt like I'm letting Captain McWaters down if I don't challenge myself to this next step. So then became a patrol sergeant. I ended up getting the promotion, and I'd follow a similar step every along the way. It's just then the lieutenant came, and then captain came. I'm being resistant and saying no thanks, but when you have so many people that you respect, um, having so much faith in you and encouraging you to take this leadership, it was encouraging and inspiring. So I eventually would say yes, and I just kept climbing the ranks. And as deputy chief, we had Chief Winstrom here, and he asked, if you were, he sent the email to 8 captains. I was one of 8, and he said, if any one of you are interested in the deputy chief role, because our deputy chief Reifenberg was retiring, so the seat was opening, and come and see me. And I didn't come see him because I wasn't interested. And the only one that didn't come see him, and then I'm dropping off a overtime car with Shelly or something, and the chief sees me and says, "Hey, Joe, you got a second?" And I come on in, and he says, "I noticed you didn't respond to my email." And I thought I messed something up. I said, "Oh, I apologize. I thought it said if we were interested." He, "Oh, it did, but why aren't you interested?" And I just kind of explained, I'm not deputy chief material. I don't think I'm not that executive type. I just want to be close to the street, the troops that men and women that work the street, and that's where my desire is. And he just told me, he really appreciated my help and kind of leading this department. And I had saw what he had done for at least 6, 7 months at that point in time. I thought it was um, noble. I thought it was, the integrity that he had, that the outsider was pouring his love into our department in our city, like he was been here his whole time. And eventually, I said yes, right, and then became a deputy chief and did that for 3.5 years. And then he gets another job in Pensacola, and the opportunity came knocking again, and I kind of had a decision to make, and once again, not to go to be the chief, and was feeling the stress from our men and women, from some community members, and everyone that wanted me to take this position. And it just, I knew what it took to do this job. The deputy chief job was a lot, but I eventually, had to sit with it. But I felt so much love and support from our men and women mostly, and then from the community, that I felt like it was God speaking to me through my men and women, and the anxiety that I had of taking this position and wondering if I'm supposed to do this, and it all went away one morning. I woke up and the vision was clear. I was calm, and my desire for the job was, I think, at its peak. And I was like, God put me here right now for whatever reason. I'm not going to ask why, but I definitely feel like I'm supposed to be here, and I've been running on that ever since. So that was back in March. So
In the world we live in with social media,
yeah,
nobody goes unscathed, right? If something like this comes up,
yeah.
nobody goes unscathed other than Joe Trigg.
Oh,
Because I say this, being on social media, and then you and I have mutual friends along the way. So now you see all this popping up. Former chief steps down, moves to Florida. Who's the next chief going to be? And everybody was Joe Trigg. You don't need to do an interview. Hire Joe. And it was one after another. And there was I never seen a negative comment. And in today's world where people hide behind screens, that doesn't happen. There were so many people that wanted you.
yeah.
You and I you have a former colleague, Darren, who's just a great friend of mine, and he's like, they're a fool if they don't hire Joe.
Yeah.
And it was just this overwhelming support for you.
Yeah.
It was crazy how much support you had.
No, and it's, even when you tell me, when you say that right now, it gives me chills. Just because, and trust me, I get it, when you're in the spotlight of things, you're a decision away from being also the target of hate and all these other things. But what it told me was, I think I put my priorities right in life with how I treat people.
Yeah, you do.
Because it doesn't matter who you are or what you've done. I'm more for the here and now. How are you acting right now? I've had some good friends that I look up to that are known for getting fulfillment out of helping others. I'm the same type. I believe I take pride and I brag about the family that I lived with in high school. Was my best friend at the time, Joe, and his mom. I call mom to this day. That he named his son after me. His son's first name is Trigg, and then I go to college and become best friends with one of my roommates and teammates, and he names his son Jacob Trigg Sokolov. And I'm like, wow, I'm not just to have one friend, put your name on their son's name is an honor. I've had two, right? So I'm like, affirms that I think I put things in the right places.
Yes.
Not perfect by any means, but I value relationships, and I will pour anything and everything. And that's what I do with the agency. I pour a lot of time into having a relationship with anybody in this building, and for the most part, anybody outside this building.
Mm.
So I'm willing to, break my back doing so. But yeah,
4 hours of sleep a night and stuff like that.
I go for 6.
Okay, go for 6. Gotcha.
Yeah. But no, it was an honor though. Absolutely flattered. I know my family's proud. To kind of see that, and at the end of the day, I appreciate all the nice, comments, especially the ones that are most supportive, the ones that know you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That got your back, the good or the bad, as we talk about that picture there, like ultimate measure of a man is where not where he stands during comfort and convenience, but during adversity and comfort. So who's gonna support me, when times are tough?
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna support the ones I love and appreciate during any time. So yeah,
Quick question for this segment.
yeah.
Name a couple of the guys, and there's probably more than a couple of the guys in this department who have been, you really learned a lot from, gleaned a lot from, very influential in your growth here.
Lieutenant John Woo, he just retired after nearly 34 years of service. Much like I talk about Shane Fairfield as a big brother, uh, um, the next big brother is John Woo. He was our sergeant when Kaz was killed, Officer Kosminski.
Yeah.
And, him to shoulder that scene when I took the day off to take my family to a Whitecaps game. So I was not here when it happened. So he had the trauma of having to supervise that scene, and then to take care of his men and women through that trauma, and the months and days, months and years after that. Especially me, obviously, Kaz and I were very close friends, and he'd call us partners just because we would partner up a lot. But no, he was my big brother. Like I say, he took me under his wing. Whether it's I've got anxiety coming back to work, and I'm emotional, and he and I just come in the locker room to talk, get off the street, kind of check out for a little bit, or the off duty stuff to just kind of sounding board and just kind of help you through that grief and trauma, right? And a personal life stuff too. He was always there. It's call Shane, call John, right? It's just those guys. And then I've developed a lot of good friends here, um, throughout the time. And there's kind of 6 of us that are very close, and we help each other through everything. But they're my brothers.
Yeah.
That I would do anything for, because I don't think you get through this career without having a strong support system, both at home and both at work, right? Nobody can understand kind of what we go through other better than somebody that's going through the same
Correct.
thing,
Yeah.
right? Or that's been through it, you know. So as you talk about Darren,
Yeah.
Sergeant Garrity, impeccable reputation here on what he did for our canine program, and um, you know, him being on the peer support team that came to my house the morning, Kaz was killed to come and spend that time talking to me when everything's going on the morning of Kaz being killed. But I spoke by him, so I always have a closeness with Darren because of that. Because I didn't see him as a senior officer at that time. He was just a man looking out for a broken man at that time. So
Yeah, gotcha. Once we're going to wrap up this segment, you're listening to Cal's Corner right here with Ariel and the Chief, and we'll be back in just a moment. Welcome to White Lake Men's Ministries, where men come together to hear stories of faith, to be encouraged, and to have fellowship. Join us every first Saturday of the month at 7 a.m. at Hanson Hill Waterfront Grill in downtown Whitehall. All men are welcome. Welcome back again. This is Cal from Cal's Corner, and once again, privileged to have Joe Trigg on the podcast with us. Thank you very much. It's been fun so far, and kind of wrap this up here a little bit going forward. But take a step back, and you lost a good friend of yours. I think 19 years ago, 2007. I think Robert Kosminski.
correct.
And he was kind of a partner of yours.
Yeah, as I said, we don't have assigned partners, but when you have a teammate that you really like working with, a lot of times you'll jump in the car together, and we definitely have that reputation. You didn't see one without seeing the other,
Okay.
Type thing. But yeah, we were good friends. I met him obviously working here. He had a year of experience on me, and he worked the Central District. I worked the North District, but we would overlap on calls at times. So just hit it off about baseball. He was a Tiger fan, Hannah Cubs fan. I was a Cubs fan, and just like I said, we hit it off. So eventually, he bid to come to our North team. So now he became a teammate, and the friendship just took off. And yeah, we worked together for 6 years, and it's a night I took off. It was we worked Friday night, but then I took Saturday off to take the family to Whitecaps game, and but like I do, we had the Nextels. Then we're the talk radio, two-way radio type stuff, and then I remember talking to him at the game and saying, "Hey, how are things going? I got the family here at the park," and he said things were slow at work, and kind of into the conversation, and then 4 hours later he'd be obviously shot and killed. I wouldn't know it until the following morning because it happened in the middle of the night. My department had sent Norton Shores PD to my house to try to contact me, but um, uh, weren't able to wake us up. I think being upstairs in the bedroom, air conditioner going, I would have knocked the doors off the hinges. Nothing against this, but yeah. So it was a tough day, and uh, a struggle with my going forward after that. I didn't, as you can imagine, like I don't think I can go on doing this job anymore. The depression, the anger, the guilt for not being there during the when he needed me the most. All those things I get that are out of my control, but your mind's telling you something else, and whatnot. But very challenging time, and I didn't overcome it by myself. I had John Woo that I talked about. I reached out to Shane. I had other loved ones here. I had Captain Carrier, rest in peace, who was my captain at that time. Everybody treated me with such sensitivity and kid's gloves, so to speak. And although it was a tough road, um, getting through the trial and all these different things, and once time moves on and everyone stops saying, "Hey, sorry to hear about it," and their lives move on. You're still stuck in this situation without your friend and everything in the city that reminds you of him. It was definitely challenging, but yeah, it's something. It's that you get through or whatnot, and I always say it's why I work hard today. That's why I try to present myself well and professionally to honor this uniform that he laid down his life defending this city and defending a family against a domestic situation. So I'm honored to carry it on, and my motivation to lead this department comes from wanting to make sure that we represent ourselves as professional, with integrity and honor, because he was all of that. He doesn't get to defend this profession anymore. But yeah, it was. Sometimes in loss there's gain, right? What I lost in Kaz, I gained, a closeness with Lieutenant John Woo, with the Kosminski family, with his daughter Kaylee, who I'm very close with, and my kids are close with her, which is that piece of him, which is important. She says she appreciates what I do for her, but she don't realize she probably does more for me. Of Yeah, just having that relationship, 'cause I can see her eyes, or see his eyes in her, which is cool. But yeah, it's part of me. It's part of life, and yeah.
Yeah, you've done a
So
great job of keeping his memory alive.
yeah.
For I mean, I think I said that the right way, keeping him,
Mhm.
because I know you also do charity events,
Yep.
in honor of him.
Yep. Like his name's all over this office. Got a
Yeah.
magnet there. There's stuff up here. His portrait's over there.
Mm-hmm.
Can't get my sleeve up, but his tattoo is his portrait is there. His name's across my back. He's everywhere. But yeah, we do the Robert Kosminski softball tournament every year. Kind of in his name,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been part of it every year. But I've been running it with a team of guys for the last. I think this will be the fourth year. It's not about winning and losing. It's not like these other softball tournaments. It's about appreciating the brother and sisterhood of this profession.
Yeah.
Come out, have a good time. I'm going to spoil you with raffle prizes, drinks, and food. Umpires are there on their free time. Let's be let's be sportsmen. Just have a good time and make
Yeah.
memories, because those are the things I miss. With Kaz, is not because he was an athlete. So we
Mm-hmm.
do some sports, basketball, softball stuff together. Let's appreciate the memories that you're going to make today, because they might not be able to make them tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right. So
Mm-hmm.
no, it's a good event. And then we have several events. There's a basketball game that's in his honor, but that the proceeds from that usually benefit um, whatever family is in need that year.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So yeah, but love having his name
Yeah.
attached to it. So that's the biggest thing. Is the parents, myself, I'm sure his daughter and other loved ones. You don't want his sacrifice forgotten, right? So you want them to know the name,
Mm-hmm.
remember the name, right? It's not just a name; it was a person. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah. So, talking about family, tell us about your family.
yeah, yeah. I got a wonderful family. I love uh, um, my kids follow me in this profession, which I'm truly honored by. And my son kind of came out of nowhere. I did not realize he wanted to get in this profession, and then he's telling friends that he didn't think I would allow him to get in this profession, which I don't know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's due to some of the challenges at times where going through the riots and the civil unrest was a challenging time for law enforcement. Yeah, my son, he's like, yeah, he wanted to be a cop, and we were hiring, and um, I was honored because I know how he was raised. His mother and I did I think, a darn good job with
Mm-hmm.
with him, and he's a good kid, and that's who our city deserves to have out there. A kid with a good heart. So he graduated the police academy last August, and he's been out on the streets of Grand Rapids here working as an officer for since probably February on his own,
Okay.
whatnot.
Yeah.
So doing a great job. I talked to him. I don't know what kind of pressure comes with being the chief's son, but I think it helps that I do. I think I have a good rapport with all the men and women here, and that he has a great work reputation. That he's not looked at. He's earned everything he's got.
Mm-hmm.
Right. My daughter, on the other hand, she's the brains of the operation. Let's say. She's been an intern for almost 2 years, so she's got seniority on my son, but she's an intern, which interns help with various tasks around the department. And she's going to transfer up to Northern Michigan University as a junior here in about 2 weeks uh, with a biochemistry major, because she wants to be a forensic tech. When she was younger, our favorite movie was Denzel Washington's Bone Collector. You know, and you remember that movie, and we watched a few crime movies together, and she's just always been intrigued by that. And she's someone that's always been focused. Like, she knows what she wants to do. My sons came out of left field a little bit, but yeah, she's very motivated. Another one that has a great work reputation here. Like, I don't have to worry about, yeah, their name, their dad's the chief. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They work their tails off and um, have earned everything they've got. So, which makes me proud.
So 2 questions about your son. He was working at a car wash a while back.
He was, yeah.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden I heard, didn't he come from car wash to here? Is that what it was?
Car wash to here. Like,
Yeah.
he was working at the quality car wash where my friend who named his son after me, Adam Sokolov, uh, Adam was working there and in charge of hiring, and he was always looking for teens that needed a job. So my son Dawson and Jada both worked there.
Okay.
My son was in a leadership role there, and yeah. So then one of his supervisors there was a retired Holland sergeant, so he was still around cops.
Yeah.
My buddy Adam did 20 years with Holland PD, so he was around cops. I know he respected me and what I did, and the close bondness that I have with my friends that are employed here, which he cited as one of the reasons he wanted to get this job, that he has seen the bond I've created with my friends here. And as we talk about, Lieutenant John Woo was like an uncle to him. So he respects the profession. He knows what it takes to to put into this profession, how much we put into it. So yeah, car wash to cop, I guess.
Gotcha. So who's stronger?
Me.
You are still?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he might tell you something differently. It depends.
Wow.
He is. Let me give him his credit. He is a 2022 state champ power lifter.
Yeah.
Right. So he's I can't remember his numbers, but I think he squatted maybe 585, pulled maybe close to 5, and bench press 3 something. I was never a big bencher, free weights at least, but dumbbells. But I still have a 635 squat to my credit, and Shane and I didn't deadlift back in the day, so I don't know what my deadlift numbers would be, but I imagine he's stronger than me in those movements there. But everything else, I would take. Maybe we need to arm wrestle on the show or something like that.
Gotcha. Extra wide frame for you two because he's big.
Yeah,
he is not.
He's
not a small young man.
He's strong.
Yeah.
But I'm not giving him the crown yet.
Oh gosh, no.
Yeah, we don't give the crown; they have to take it.
We got to take it.
So.
Yeah. Your son played football at Mona Shores. You're a big red. How'd that work?
That was, I would say, that was more challenging than people realize, because obviously the Muskegon Mona, wannabe rivalry, type thing, which they've got a great program that they've built over there, and both my kids went to Mona, so I was proud of that because it's a great school. But there's no question where my allegiance and alliance is with Shane Fairfield and the Muskegon Big Red program. So wondering if my relationship with Shane would put a target on Dawson's back playing football there, which it didn't. It just made things uncomfortable to a certain degree, because knowing that Mona and Muskegon or whatnot. But I definitely wanted my son to know that I supported him, and it was watching the Muskegon Mona game when Dawson was a senior, and now he's earned a starting role, because years prior he hadn't started. He got shape, earned a starting position. I don't think people understand how hard that was, knowing that Shane's a brother that I would literally die for, and then my son. But I want my son to win that game, but I know how important that game is to Shane. I was like, I felt physically sick watching that game. There was no joy in it, and I was happy that my son was a senior. I would never have to deal with that again. So stressful.
I have my 2 closest friends coaching football now, especially now that Darren's gone. What are Dan Roan and Shane Fairfield. And I've had a 30-year friendship with Dan Roan. I don't see him near as much as what I used to now that he's on the east side. But that 2023 game when they played against each other. I had that same feeling.
So you know. Yeah,
So I know.
yeah.
So I had a Muskegon pullover on, but I had a coat over me, and I was in the Warren De La Salle locker room before the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I had the MHSAA pass.
Yeah.
And then I come out of there, take my coat off, throw it in the Muskegon locker room, and stood on the sideline with the Big Red. So I helped, be around a lot. But yeah, there's one of my good friends is on the other side. So I can, even you more so at the next level because that's your son and your best friend.
Yeah.
So that's
brutal. The coward's way out would have been to not go to the game, right? To just I can't, I don't want to know, just afterwards. But then to be there, knowing I wanted that win for my son, but the pain that it was going to cause, Shane, I didn't want that. And obviously, Muskegon ended up winning big,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe, if my memories serves me right, but. Yeah, I was happy to have that day over. Even when the younger years when he was a part of like the JV or whatnot, and when it was at Muskegon, I got caught because I'm having a conversation in the stands, and I'm so used to rooting for Muskegon that a play happened, and I rooted. I was like, yeah, and I'm like, oh wait, and a friend hits me, and like, wrong team.
Right,
your son's on.
Yeah,
but my son didn't play.
Okay.
Right, so it was hard. It was easier to detach because he didn't see the field one bit, right? But once he's a starter, he's part of that team, and once you're a starter, you're invested. You feel you take ownership of it more. So
yeah. We've been talking about your son. Tell me a little bit about your daughter. Got to play fair here.
Yeah,
tell us about your daughter.
Like I said, she is more like me than my son. She's got my silliness. She's got my, I think, creativity even more so. She's got she's got that more open personality, and she loves hard, which I like that too, right? Because she is so sensitive. As you see the balls that the ones that she's done her artwork on, that was something that she did for Father's Day, and that's a great present that I'll keep forever.
Mm-hmm.
But she's also got my can have the temper side, which I like about her. Like no one's gonna she's not a pushover, right? Because her dad's not a pushover either. I always say I saw a thing that said I'm not a nice guy. I'm a good guy, right? It's kind of watch yourself type thing. It's I'm a defender. I'm a protector, and I will protect my family and friends. But no, she's amazing. She's so smart. She's graduated with 4+ honors. She's going to college, biochemistry major. Like got all the smarts clearly from her mother. But so proud of her. So proud of how she's just focused. Like she's so mature for her age, even though we grew up in different times, different situations. She's got it together, and so proud of her and what she's done here. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So I had a final question, but I got to look. I didn't get a bottle of the Chief Joe Trigg wine.
When you get certain things, people want to get you gifts. So that's my buddy, Renee, that got that for me. Said, hey, it's not anything special, but I just got you a bottle of wine with that on there. And I'm like, hey, man, it's the thought that counts. I love it. Anything. It said, no, not too big, not too small. And yeah. So it's all these are different gifts from people for the most part. Some stuff I inherited.
Yeah.
With the books and stuff. That's one of my favorite pictures of me with the kids
Mm-hmm.
when they're younger. And the other one up there is we got the docu-series, GRPD All Access, but for my kids to be in that, something I could cherish forever, right?
Yeah.
So they did ride-alongs on that night.
Okay.
And so, yeah. So pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. I'm doing a podcast next week with a guy by the name of John Mellema,
Okay.
a longtime principal in Fremont.
Okay.
Incredible educator.
Nice.
And he says, he's in his early 80s, I think, and he goes, podcasts. And I said, yeah, John, I want to do a podcast. Why do you want to do a podcast with me? Because one thing about podcasts is they're out there forever. So I said, you might, some of your students from 20, 30 years ago will want to watch that because I see kind of the could have been the mayor, of Fremont. He was so well loved, and respected, much like a Dan Beckman, a puffer. And so it's that, um, just that's the cool thing of podcasts, that they're always around.
Yeah, no.
People will be able to, your grandkids 30 years from now, 40 years from now, will be able to see it. I have no, my dad passed when I was 31. My mom passed in, let me see, '06. But I don't have any like memories of my father like that. Or my grandkids now, or her, when she gets married and have kids, they're going to be able to 20, 30 years go back and find me broadcasting games or being on podcasts. That's the cool thing with podcasts. They kind of live on forever.
Yeah.
Final question. What's next? I know you're 49.
49 years old.
What's next?
Yeah, I'll be 50 in about a month. What's next is, I think, retirement. Honestly, it's I'm gonna have a 3 to 5 year run, I think, in this position, and this will definitely be the last gig in law enforcement. I have no desires to go work for another agency. I mean, I don't say never too often, but I'll never wear another uniform. That's just not. I won't need to. I've made a pretty good living, and I won't need to. So I'll be ready for my story to end here at Grand Rapids Police Department, and then see, maybe get back to either coaching baseball or assisting or coaching some sport. If Shane is still coaching at that time, maybe being part of where he is, more so as a mentor for young men or women, just anyone. I think I have some wisdom to pass on, but find somewhere to give, inspire, that type of thing. But wait to see what I feel called to. But law enforcement, yeah, this will be it. I don't have no aspirations for anything political or law enforcement. I think I've done my time. This job, it weighs a lot on you. It takes a lot out of you. And I think if you're going to do it, you do it to the best of your ability. You don't overstay your welcome in it to where you become bitter or burned out.
Yeah. So, do you ever, just make me think of a question here? Obviously, you see the things that don't go well on a day-to-day basis. Do you get to see the things that do go well?
Absolutely. I mean, you see the good work that our men and women do on a daily basis, right? I'd say in this profession, you negativity sells, right? So it's that's what gets all the clicks, unfortunately, sometimes. But we live from social media video to social media video with the thought that nothing happened in between, right? We respond to 307 calls a day, where our men and women go out there and they're handling a problem, having good interactions. Yes, there's some negative interactions when you're taking somebody to jail and a family member doesn't want that person to go to jail. The person himself don't want to go to jail, but they do great work. We get to see them make impact on the people's lives in this city. That we see a ton of good things, and we need to do a better job of showing the community some of those things, so we can get rid of that negative narrative sometimes that attaches to law enforcement, because we can look and say there's violence that happens in our community. We all know it, and there's communities all across the country. But sometimes that doesn't get the attention that it deserves, and the focus becomes law enforcement and what we're not doing. We can always be better, and we're searching for ways to do that. But you also got to hold both sides accountable. It's a two-way street. So see plenty of good. I could not have the positive attitude for this profession and want my kids to come into it if I thought it was um, all negative or even half negative. It's a fulfilling job, and it's up to you, the person, to make sure you look at your glass as half full, not half empty, and that's totally under your control, and a leadership thing of me or whoever reminding those of that, which I'll do until my last day.
Yeah, gotcha. So anything you would like to add? Anything?
No, I appreciate you having me part of the podcast here. Ariel, your work here. I appreciate this. This is special. I take everyone seriously, but special this one, knowing that friendship that we're gaining, and knowing how much Shane respects you and what you do for others. So I appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this. I know you're a
Well,
busy guy,
yeah, you're welcome.
and we appreciate you, just taking the time, and
Yeah.
good luck with this. I mean, you're still new to this. I mean, how long you been chief?
Permanently only about a month, but I've been
Yeah.
in the interim role
Yeah.
since March. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's new, day at a time, one day at a time.
There we go.
So,
So once again, thank you very much. Thank you to Ariel, the Ariel Grace Marketing. And yeah, once again, this is episode 39, podcast number 39. I kind of had forgot, but Ariel knew the number on the way down. So, but stay tuned. We have more episodes coming here in the near future. So once again, Joe Trigg, Chief, thank you very much for your time. Ariel, thanks. And we'll talk to you soon. God bless.